Hello, this presentation is about how to fulfill the stakeholders' tools requirements. There are many different stakeholders in your organization and they have all different requirements. But let's focus on our first tool. It's a FAT client where you can model your process. You have an extensible database in the background. Means you can add your own properties. You can obviously also fill the properties with description, but also with some simulation data like costs, like throughput, batch time, and so on. And this all is very neat, embedded in a nice graphical interface, and this allows you not only to view the diagram but also to simulate the diagram in order to optimize it before you maybe start a workflow or before you implement this little process flow. So this process flow is then simulated and you can really spot straight away where the bottleneck is, where the problem is in this little diagram. There's another tool that we look at it. It's called vModeler. The vModeler is based on Visio. It's a Visio front end, another SIG client component, so you can create new diagrams, you can open diagrams from the database. And the important part here is it's not just like a drawing environment, you have also the database in the background. The database helps you to reuse existing objects, to create associations. But let's start for a second here with our existing objects. So we can select our existing objects from the database, for example an external event, and we can easily drag and drop this object from the database into our drawing environment in Visio. And you can use all the nice little Visio features for zooming in, zooming out, for connecting. But again, we are in the database, means we have all the properties available as well that you have seen before in Corporate Modeler. Finally, it's also important that we can save this information back, so it's not a one-off loading from the database, but we can also save information back to the database and make it available for all the other stakeholders as well. Another way of adding information is via the portal or the web modeler. So you can actually have fully synclined application that you can access this information. You can go to the properties, to the association, you can see all the different associations to an object. But even more important, beside the fact that you can change textual information, you can also edit the diagram with the vModeler. This allows you then to store information also in a graphical way. So you have your object palette, your new objects, but also your existing objects. Similar to the vModeler, you can select those objects, you can drag and drop objects straight away on this diagram. Again, all this is always live directly on the database, and as soon as you save it, it's then available for everyone else. So let's zoom in to this check credit that we have just dragged and dropped. You can see we can change the name, you can move it to the front, to the back, or you can also edit the textual properties. So let's save this diagram and go back to our portal solution. So again, that's fully syncline based, no installation, it's just a web server necessary. So that's another way of actually accessing information, changing information for a different set of stakeholders. The next tool I would like to present you. So the next tool is again the portal, but now from an enterprise architectural point of view. The portal can generate diagrams live, so you don't need to draw them. Means for this little application portfolio diagram, it takes the live data out of the database. The different size of the bubble shows the number of users, it shows you the life cycle status in different colors, and you have also the textual information underneath. In the same way, you can use this function not only for application portfolio, but for your project portfolio, program portfolio, and so on. So let's take a look to our programs. The portal also provides you a timeline view. Again, this is live generated, you don't need to draw these kind of diagrams. You can select the different programs obviously, and you can also then change the view from 2D to 3D, or you can even drill down into these timeline diagrams. Our little example, the SAP implementation. You can either go through a program or you can select the project straight away. So there are three types of objects: program, projects, and activities, and each of the objects have different properties. Here you can see some assessment, project status, portfolio information that helps you later on to build your bubble chart. Behind the association you can see the critical success factors, but you can add your project owner, you can add the application that are involved in this project, and so on. Another example is built on SQL. So obviously once you have a database you want to access this, and this is one example with BI tool from Microsoft, the SQL reporting service, and you can create any kind of wonderful nice reports. Here an example of technology architecture based on your central repository. You can either focus on enterprise architecture as in this example, or you can focus on the compliance part where you have tasks scheduled and you want to see the result or the task status, if it's in progress, if it's rejected, approved, and so on. You can also use this reporting interface, of course, for calculating, in this case a failure mode effect report, or you can also create, of course, any kind of Six Sigma reports where you can also embed the diagram that you have just drawn before, maybe as part of the report. So it's a very powerful solution for all types of stakeholders. The next solution is focusing on execution of processes. So once you have drawn a process flow diagram, you might want to execute, you want to create a support case, you want to do a check credit or any other workflow. So this little interface shows your own processes that you have to progress, and on top of this solution you have also all your business activity monitoring dashboard that you can see your current status, you can see your performance against your team, or any other textual report, always based live on the real workflow data. So that's very important here. Another little example is a proof of concept that I've created part of Windows Mobile 6 with a little emulator. It's actually accessing the same set of information that we have just created before via a mobile phone. So that's using actually web services, and you can see you can scroll through the different object types and we can view this information. The same way we've created another example on the BlackBerry where you can go through a menu, you select your object, you have to log in, you have to authenticate yourself, and then you can view, or you can even edit information via your little BlackBerry or mobile phone. I've also used the Google graphics, Google visualization in order to visualize some of the content. So that's just a proof of concept, another way of accessing the same type of information from a mobile device. Last but not least, we focus now on the compliance area, where users getting scheduled emails that you have to perform a certain task. You can open this task straight away via this View Here button, or you can open the portal, the generic portal, via this link here. After you authenticate yourself, you can see your models and later on then your tasks. So that's a very important part, that users get triggered directly from an email. And you can see here is a compliance requirement. The brown boxes, the white boxes are the controls or the assessment questions. And these questions gets triggered as a task, and each task is assigned to one or more users, and these users can finally then read this audit question, the control, and can respond to this. So in my case here, you can type your answers into this text field, and finally you can submit this answer. And this submission is then going to the compliance officer, which has either to eject or reprove your submission and maybe change the compliance status. Calendar view, where we can see all the scheduled tasks for yourself. There's a different status view where you can see here, example, a risk assessment, or for ISO 20000 our compliance list. And very powerful, of course, then also the dashboards where you can see your compliance status straight away. In our case here we have 3 non-conformant areas, and if we move our mouse over, we can see these areas and we can spot them straight away. So that's a solution focusing specific on the compliance team. And I hope I could show in this little presentation there are a whole range of different requirements, different tools. Everyone wants to use information from a different angle. So everything that you have seen today should be built in a central repository. Then you can get most out of it for your organization. So the tool capabilities that we need now is it should be based on a scalable database designed for multiple user access. It should be flexible and extensible so you can meet the different stakeholders' requirements, and it should be easy to use. So it's time for a break. I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and any feedback is more than welcome.